Hi everyone, this is Sabrina. For the past couple of weeks I have been playing with paper clay and I didn't make any notes. I'm going to try to go with the flow and see if I can remember everything that I was going to talk about. So I had picked up some paper clay a while ago and I tried it out, and I used the molds and I wasn't too thrilled with it. For me, you hear me often say that I don't have time and I don't have patience, and I think that I don't have patience because I know I don't have time. So certain things I don't want to have to fiddle too much with. I need a certain satisfaction, I guess, with whatever I'm trying to do as quickly as possible. So I played with it and I wasn't exactly thrilled, but then after a while I let the pieces sit, and when I went back to them, you know, I wanted to do something, just a quick little something, and I picked up one of the pieces and I colored it. And after I did that, I said, okay, I have to give it another try. So this is the paper clay that I started out with. And then after watching a video by Carolyn, who is Teatime N Dolls, and I'm going to try my best to remember to actually link the video that I watched, but she did a series on the paper clay, and it's thorough. And I don't like to recreate the wheel. If somebody does something and it helped me and it's good, I'd rather just link the video than try to do it over again. So I'm gonna link her video, and she goes into detail about the clay. I like this clay. I liked working with this clay. I'm not gonna take it out. I think you can see here it's kind of an off-white kind of color, which didn't bother me. But the clay kind of, and again, I think it's the user, it's not the product, but the clay was like, it would stick to my hands, which I didn't care for too much. I experienced the same thing with this polyform clay, and this was the other clay that Carolyn talked about, and I saw another video, and I think her name was Heather. She's a mixed media person, and she also spoke very highly about this clay. In fact, she said this was the clay that she uses most often. I was able to find this clay at Walmart. They did also have it at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and of course you can use the coupon, but even with the coupon it was very close in price as to what I can get it for at Walmart. And for me, like, being able to run up the road to Walmart is a lot easier, so I'm kind of gravitating towards this clay. It also, I'll show you the difference in a minute. So this one was kind of off-white, and this one is more white, and this one does dry a little bit heavier. I learned after doing some research that the clays that are lighter, they have more paper, more paper particles in them. So that's the difference in that. And here you can see this is this paper clay, and it's the off-white color, and it's lighter, and this is not much heavier, but you can feel the difference that this has a little bit more weight to it. And I think I like the white, but quite honestly I think I'm probably going to alternate between the two. So those are the clays. You can sculpt this clay. I don't sculpt, I'm not that gifted. And you can use any type of silicone mold. It doesn't matter if it is a baking mold, a candy mold. They have the ice tray molds. What else am I missing? They have molds specifically for the clay. It doesn't matter what type of mold, like I said, candy making or baking, or, you know, any such type of mold, as long as it's silicone, because the silicone allows for the clay to pop right out. Like, these are candy making molds that I got at Hobby Lobby. This one is a silicone mold that I think was for fondant, and I got this on Amazon. And then of course you can make molds. So I'm going to link the video that Ida Martinez. I tell you, Ida and Carolyn, you guys just really you inspired me to play to play with this clay. But Ida had showed a video that she made her own molds, and I bought the ingredients. I bought the product, which I've already used and thrown away the packaging. But again, not recreating the wheel. I'll link Ida's channel where you can see where she shows the product, and I believe she even links it in her video. So for me, I felt like, because I was experimenting with different things, and for me, the metal pieces and charms were probably the best things to mold. It was very easy for me because I was still learning how to work it in terms of how much pressure, like how far down to push the item into the mold, and how much pressure. Like on this one, I pushed too far, I pushed too hard on one side than the other, and it caused the silicone to kind of roll over. So I'm thinking about buying another set of the product. It was a little bit pricey. It was at $25, just to play with it some more. And also red rubber stamps. I have stuff all over my mold. Red rubber and clear stamps worked beautifully to make the molds. So for me, like I said, I don't sculpt. The molds are the best things to use. And then after that, this here is a fondant roller where you can roll out the image onto whatever you're working with, in this case the clay. They also have these rollers they're used for like cookie dough and for fondant, that you can roll out whatever you're working with and then have the impression of that image in your dough. So you can do that. And then there are these, what is this called? It's called a cookie stamper. So it's an actual cookie cutter, and when you press it though, you press into it an impression. And they also have these for fondant, which that's what these were. And you can see I still have clay all in it. So that's another option. My friend Tanya, hey sis, she made some pieces using an embossing folder, which I would have never even thought of. I can't show you that because I didn't do it, and I haven't seen her process. But she used an actual embossing folder to make some of her pieces. So this, let me see if I can show you. These are some of the pieces that have not been colored yet. And I find that for me, the less bulky the piece is, the more likely I am to use it. And probably the smaller the image, the more likely I am to use it. I love these. I love the, this is, I didn't bring my mold. I didn't bring all my molds over here. This is the, hold on a second. Okay, my wonderful people. I'm back. I had to pause the video because I had a stack of molds, and I couldn't remember where I put them, and they weren't where I normally put them, and I thought I had thrown them away, and the garbage had already been put out and picked up. So I kind of had a little bit of a panic attack. So anyway, I was talking about these pieces and how I love them, and these are the Prima. This is that Prima mold. And I just find that I don't reach for these. Like I haven't figured out how yet to use them, or how I would like to use them. Whereas some of these other pieces, for me, are more readily, I can more readily use them as embellishments. Where, like I said, the bigger ones I'm still learning how to use. I'm also still learning how to actually work with the clay. I find if you look, you can very clearly see the cracks, and that didn't have to do with the clay. That had to do with the user, me. So I'm learning how to kind of work the clay better and smooth it out better. And me, because I'm heavy-handed and I'm doing things quickly, I have an issue with maybe putting too much clay in the mold. And so I'm just my own personal thing. I'm learning how to work with the clay better. So as you see here, these are a bunch of pieces. This is the mold that I received from Ida. Hey sis. And that's these gorgeous buttons. And then I used these pieces and I made, you know, I made my own mold. And that's, I wasn't going to show you them colored yet, but that's this. And hold on, I have tons of pieces over here. And this right there. And then where is it? And then this heart here. And for me, like I said, the less bulky the piece is, the more likely I am to use it. But it's really pretty. You can see the details, and I think it's just an issue of me learning how to put maybe a little bit less clay in the actual mold. So coloring, I'm gonna get to that. These are the little sunglasses. Alright, I'm trying to get all of my little pieces together. This is a butterfly from one of the molds that I made. Okay. So these are the little pieces from the fondant cutters. That's this. Okay, so coloring, and that's what kind of made me want to play around with the clay again. Not only that, but once I actually figured out, you know, how to put the clay in, and it was easy enough. You put the clay in the mold, pop it out, and then I would just let it sit so that when I'm ready to come back to it, I could do that. And I find, I have mentioned before that knitting is one of those things for me that I don't have to think so much. As with paper crafts, I'm trying to figure out how to design and what to put together and what stamp to use. That for knitting, I'll get a pattern and I'll kind of just follow the pattern, and it's smooth, it's easy crafting for me. So I find that with these, I kind of got the same sort of soothing sense, not from working with the clay itself, but from coloring it, because I'm not a colorer. I love coloring, but I just do not do it well. And the pieces are small enough to add color, to add a couple little bling, to add a little bit of glitter. And it's like, for me, it was easy. It was easy, you know, to kind of make something that I was pleased with without having to think too hard about it. So for coloring these, I did use, and again, this is, I'm sure there's tons of stuff. This is just what I was playing with for the past couple of weeks, and what I found worked quickly and easily for me. So the embellishment mousse, I love that. Also, layering colors to me seems to be the best, and I'll show you more pieces in a minute, more colored pieces in a minute. But layering colors just, to me, makes each piece look that much better. So the metallic paints and these extreme sheen, which I showed that I hauled, I can't remember when. So the paints, I love using these paints, and I'm leaning towards these extreme sheen because they have this little speckle of, this is the 24 karat, and I'm hoping that the camera is picking it up so that you can see. But they have like these little, there's not glitter in the paint, but they have these little flecks of, I don't know, is there mica powder in here? I'm not sure what's in here. So you can see the little flecks. It almost looks like glitter. And so I'm leaning towards these sheen, but I really do like the metallic paints as well. I also used liquid pearls to color these. Awesome. On this little coffee cup piece. That's liquid pearls. Stickles, of course, I find with the stickles, it's better to use the stickles over, whether I used marker or paint, it's better. I liked using the stickles over it. If you have pieces that, like this piece had spaces where I can actually put some lines of stickles in it and then just kind of brush it around. So I liked that. What else did I use? So again, I was saying layering. So generally, I will either use the paints, the liquid pearls, any type of watercolor marker, like my Zig Clean Color, the brush pens, or these Tombow, not Tombow, is this Tombow? Yes, Tombow watercolors. And I'm really liking using my Spectrum Noir. Am I saying that right? Using these markers, the alcohol markers, to color the pieces. So I would lay down some color, whether it be with the watercolors, but mostly using these, the paint or the liquid pearls, and then go over it with either some embellishment mousse or some type of the wax. I don't know, is it called gilding wax? So these waxes. I'm still waiting to purchase the Artsy, and I think I'm looking into the Prima, what is it called, Finnabar. I was watching Monica, who is scrapping for my boys, and I love what she does with mixed media. So I'm looking into those, getting some of those waxes to try that. But yeah, you lay down the color and then you go over either with the stickles. I either went over with stickles or with wax or with embellishment mousse, and I think they came out really pretty. This was the mold that Ida gave me, and this is liquid pearls with some of the wax. What is it called? Wax metallic finish. So wax. And then this here, I went over with the paint, with the Extreme Sheen paint, and then I went over it with stickles. And I made a mistake on this one too, but of course, the mistakes are where stuff comes out nice. So there's a different shading of color because I had some red on my paintbrush. And I was too lazy to clean it, and the red ended up putting some tiny little, like, at first it was purple, and then I went over it with the stickles. So that was that one. I showed this one. This here, these two are from the button mold that I got from Ida, and I used liquid pearls and wax. And then this one was from one of the molds, one of those candy making molds. This right here, I went over with a colored pencil, and I did it deliberately so like you could kind of see the lines of the seahorse. So that was colored pencil. And then all of these I went over. This one is using the watercolor pens. This one here, this was a paint. This is paint? Yeah, this was another paint. Okay, so after I did that, I went over them with a coat of triple thick. And of course me, because I like bling, I was like, oh, I got some of the, what do you call that they have in Michael's? The diamond, is it diamond dust? So I was too heavy-handed, and I put all of the glitter, and it just took away from the detail of the piece. So I have to get rid of this because my idea just didn't work. However, I did discover that using a much finer glitter and just putting a light dusting over it did the trick. So I think this butterfly came out so pretty, and then I embellished with these little these little gems, these little blings. And I love how that came out. This here, again, I went over with a light coat, and you can't even see it that much. I used stickles on this one as well. And I went over them with a light coat of triple thick. So this one here was the one that I ended up using too much glitter, but the piece was so flat that I think I might still be able to get away with using this one. My absolute favorite is using this, the Tim Holtz collage paper, and I cannot wait for the new ones to start shipping. So I use the collage paper on the actual piece. And do I have one that is not? No, I don't. That would have been this. And I love how that came out. That's the collage paper. Oh, and let me tell you, I didn't take too much care with the backs of these. I really didn't, because for me, I know that I'm going to adhere them onto something. I might adhere them onto, you know, a bow, or onto another embellishment, or onto a project, so I didn't take too much care with the back. This here, I used the alcohol markers and then laid the collage paper on top of it. And for me, I think that's probably my best process. I love how these come out using the collage paper, because you can still see the details of the piece, but the collage paper just adds a little bit of something to it. And then of course with the I thought I had another one with the alcohol marker underneath, because the paper is transparent. So I really like how those came out using the collage paper. And then last but not least, I thought this came out so cute. So I made a mold using some different stamps, and I made the mold. That's where this coffee cup comes from. It was a stamp. And where's the little slippers? And I know the sunglasses was somewhere, but this is one of those little LOL dolls, one of the stamps. And I do have to figure out, because my molds ended up having bubbles in them. And initially, you know, when I stirred it and I poured it, I did use the heat gun to pop the bubbles. But I don't know if I didn't wait long enough. I don't know what exactly it was, but I can see it in the mold where some of the pieces, you can see that there are extra bubbles that shouldn't be there. But I thought this came out really super cute. And I didn't color her hair the right color. I thought I had a brown marker, so it looks a little bit aggressive, but I just love how these little pieces come out, because for me, really the point was to have a different type of embellishment, that when I make something for someone, it's not something that they could very easily go to the store and get. Now you can get clay and you can get molds, but you know, just trying to take the time to come up with something just a little bit different and a little bit unique, so that when I make something for somebody, it's a unique gift that I'm giving them, that they can use. So that was my adventure. That was my adventure for the past couple of weeks with the paper clay. I'm enjoying it. I have to learn how to work with the clay itself a little bit better. I'm figuring out which types of pieces I gravitate towards using, and I have a couple more ideas as to actually coloring them, or I guess it would be coloring. The collage paper is not actually coloring, but there's a couple of other things that I want to try to decorate these pieces, and I'll come back with that after I've experimented a little bit. So I hope this gives you guys a little bit of inspiration. If you've been thinking about you know, trying the paper clay, I recommend it. It's easy. It's one of these, it's an easy medium to use. And as you can see, you can do a number of different, you can color it with so many different things. This collage paper, I know I said it, I don't know how many times, but I'm loving it. I'm loving how what the collage paper just does to the piece, as well as the sheen, and even making just your own unique molds. So if you guys have any comments, if you have any ideas, if you've played with the clay before and you can give me some hints and tips, I appreciate it. I always read all of the comments that you guys post. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.